Hey y'all, it's Aki Channel Tatsumaki, and I'm back. And today I think I should, open up more or less this part of this pretty much ending of this month with me probably reviewing MK11 and how I felt about it. I just played it like literally just a week ago, and I pretty much played and beat the game, and I saw all the kinks and whatnot was going on with it. And pretty much, after playing it, I just had to just, give this little review to y'all, this little rant about the game and whatnot, and probably even put a lot of the controversies that have been going on to bed, or probably answer a few that some may have and whatnot. So, pretty much, I saw the trailers and I saw like a few big, bits of cut scenes and character endings and whatnot on YouTube and whatnot, and pretty much from all that, I was able to literally kind of piece, what the story was going to all be about. And when I actually played the physical game, it pretty much came to fruition. Um, in terms of narrative style, actually, this is the part where I actually will raise Mortal Kombat, but let me remind you, I will get into, of course, spoilers or, of course, the double negative of the overall story mode of Mortal Kombat. For the most part, in terms of, telling science fiction of time travel and, all that in terms of time travel and dimensional crossing over and whatnot. I actually really did like how MK11 pulled it off, and really, actually, I personally declare that MK11 is one of those few stories that actually adequately enough tell do time travel stories right and somewhat accurate. Like, yeah, that could happen, or no, that could happen. Just like when the two Kanos were fighting Sonya, and Sonya from the past shoots and kills Kano, and which causes the future Kano to also pretty much die because she killed the past Kano, because it altered the timeline, so to speak. And on that concept, I feel like they actually did really nail it in terms of telling time travel stories. So yeah, it was, on that aspect, it was pretty good. And I know this may sound like pretty petty and whatnot, but there's actually personal things about this overall story mode I didn't care about. Personally, I didn't like the fact that pretty much Hasashi was killed off just for them to just bring back past Scorpion, who was a revenant at the time. Because I guess some people were just whining and complaining, I guess. Although back in MKX, Devorah couldn't even hold a candle to the Hanzo, but she had one of her tendrils poisoned and stabbed them and killed them. It's just those little small parts in the one of the small parts in the overall story mode that kind of actually were a little aggravating. Centurion is a blank slate character. Garrus is just the mindless, your typical mindless henchman character who literally actually barely did anything in the story. If you would have take him out alongside with him, the Collector, and even Shao Kahn to a certain extent, they the story would pretty much already be the story itself would already be important already without those characters, because they pretty much didn't really contribute anything to it. There's pretty much hyping Chronica up as this next gen baddie for the MK universe, but the whole time she was just this really boring, I get people to do my dirty work type villain. She was barely in the campaign up until the last scene, which actually gives one of the best because we get to see Fire and Lightning God Liu Kang, which honestly, I literally thought I like shit a brick when I saw that Fire and Lightning God Liu Kang. I'm like, wow, this is it's kind of fucking awesome, bro. Like, I literally was actually at the edge of my seat when I saw God Liu Kang, and they're pretty much setting him up to be the new Raiden, because Raiden is immortal now. So I guess he's gonna take up the mantle of the defender of Earthrealm and the Earthrealm host in Mortal Kombat for, like, the next gen characters, as we see of Casey Cage and whatnot, Casey Cage and Devorah and whatnot, and which was kind of weird because we only get Casey Cage in this. But I'm like, Casey Cage and Jackie. We only get those two, but I guess from the Earthrealm hero characters, I guess they're the only popular ones because we don't see Kung Jin or Takeda anywhere. I guess they just didn't hold up enough. Although personally, I actually did like Takeda, and they pretty much established, that him and Jackie were actually going to build up on a relationship. And the fact that he's pretty much absent in this game, it kind of pretty much doesn't doesn't do their more or less their relationship any favors. Personally, yeah, that's literally just the little small things I don't like about it. There was obviously a lot of just like really petty fan pandering here and there. Uh, I feel like they just kind of killed off characters too soon, Hanzo Hasashi, for the most part. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about the story. It was in itself, it got a bit much. Some of the new characters were meh, and there was just a really few bad choices in this game. I wish they could have just done better. Like Jax, like past Jax is no future Jax, yeah, future Jax more or less wanted all that shit at the end, so to speak, or he slipped into a depression. And Chronica went to him and promised him, all of his troubles would disappear, and she pretty much suited him with her personal automatics and whatnot, and gave him a new suit, which personally I found was like just really out of character for Jax Briggs. Like we're talking about this really patriotic, through and through like type of soldier, commander, idol in the series. Pretty much, he's ready for any precautions that will happen and whatnot, and he pretty much all that is pretty much thrown away. What made Jax what he was, pretty much amongst the most iconic characters in the video game franchise, is thrown away for some really just sobby, slight antagonistic approach somewhere like towards the end of the game. Yeah, spoilers. Jax pretty much, future Jax pretty much only shows up literally in the last part of the game. Past Jax, I kind of like that was a kind of calling back that he has purple spandex and really like back in the day sci-fi looking arms where it's like tube like he kind of looks like Colossal. Only that the only thing that shifted was his arms instead of his whole body. So he actually did like overall the design of Jackson this. In terms of designs, character designs in this game, they're pretty vanilla toast for the most part. Some of them are really pleasing to look at. Some are just repetitive. Some are just borrowed outfits from previous games, and some are actually like just really fucking great. Uh, Personally, the whole concept of pretty much in this game pretty much gives you full control to customize with a K some characters in this series. Like you can get new skins and new patches and what you want to do with them. Like Cabal has like over several different type of mags you can use and different coats and whatnot. Or you pretty much literally just get the same primary suit just in a different color. Like you just pretty much grind somewhere apart in this game just to literally get the same colors of already established primary suits. Like, yeah, I just pretty much did a challenge tower to literally just get a new color of the character's primary suit. Like that's pretty much where it goes off from. Like, can they just bring back some original suits maybe? Like we pretty much see the original Cabal outfit in here. We pretty much see the original Liu Kang outfit in here, like Mortal Kombat 2 Liu Kang outfit, Mortal Kombat 3 skin for Liu Kang and whatnot. Um, Personally, in terms of actual character designs, they really did an actually good job in this part, despite of literally some of the unlockable suits in here is literally just already established character costume designs, just with a different color on it or different mags, but sometimes it gets just a bit, a little uninspiring or a little lazy sometimes. So that's literally all I gotta say about character designs. They're all right. They're legitimate enough in this game, but some of them do get pretty generics really fast. But they still give you that chance to openly come out and pretty much, set up designs for yourself if you want to do PvP online and whatnot. In terms of gameplay, actually, this is pretty much really the most awkward part for me about the game and this review in general. Um, for the most part, pretty much everything you've pretty much known about the characters since MK9, all their inputs and whatnot, you just got to throw it away because pretty much everyone has like really different inputs now. Like, for example, Cabal, my personal favorite character. If I do remember in MK9, the dude Buzzsaw was back X, and the dude Vapor Blast was back triangle or square. Y'all can correct me down in the comment section below. But in this now, it's kind of like it's back forward X, back forward square, back forward triangle to do them. And it kind of pretty much to me on this terms, pretty much I worked day in and day out just to pretty much master that character's whole move set, all of his fatalities and whatnot in the previous in MK9, and it kind of seems like a hassle to pretty much literally just reintroduce yourself to these new button inputs. It kind of becomes a little frustrating at parts on that concept. Literally everything you know about all the inputs you know about characters like Liu Kang, pretty much whole button input is pretty much different in this game. Pretty much everything, all the inputs, all the things you painstakingly remembered in MK9, you gotta just pick it up, throw it away, and just reintroduce yourself to these inputs. So yeah, in that part, I kind of had a few issues here and there. Just feel like the input was just really alien for the most part, and like again, it's going to be a hassle to pretty much remember everything that I pretty much fucking mastered in MK9 just to get up to standards with the original, with these new different button inputs. I guess I just gotta get used to it, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much the only gripe I gotta say about in terms of button input for the gameplay. Pretty much in terms of gameplay in general, of execution, it's pretty much anything you could expect from, Netherealm's games. Like they're really just, to the ground fighting games and whatnot, just basic button input and basic combos and whatnot. So, I mean, if you play one NetherRealm game, you pretty much played them all in terms of move sets in the gameplay and whatnot. So that's pretty much got to say about the gameplay. Um, I feel like the overall animation and actual renders of the characters in general have all this really nostalgic like touch and whatnot to this game, so to speak. Um, it pretty much is a calling back to the original poses since the original three trilogies from the '90s and whatnot, with a few Easter eggs in here and there from the Deadly Alliance, the PS2 Deadly Alliance series. So yeah, there's a lot of callbacks actually in this game in terms of how the renders look and the animation and whatnot and their choice of martial arts. There's a lot of calling backs in MK11 to that, so I like that. X-ray moves are pretty much are taken out for pretty much these things called fatal blows, which pretty much serve as the ultimate attacks, the ultimate finishers for most characters. And this is where you can pretty much see where the injustice influences is in. And I already know people aren't going to say, but Mortal Kombat and Injustice pretty much play the same. Yeah, they do, but still, there are some aspects of Injustice that weren't common in MK that are common now in the new inception of MK11. And which was pretty much the whole fatal blow concept reminds me of their super smashes, so to speak, in the game. And of course, the general course Injustice has a different button input. Like Mortal Kombat has left punch, left kick, right kick. Injustice is strong, light, and all together. Strong right and a strong fast button. And then they have the special superhero ability button. Like it's a special attack. That's in terms of difference, in terms of gameplay. That's where these two games are pretty much, standing in their own plane of fields, so to speak. Um, Yeah, so pretty much you expecting it's the gameplay in general in terms of combat. It's anything you would expect from a Netherealm fighting game, so to speak. So you can take it or leave it, I guess. Um, mm. And then we get to this really special part of the game. Actually, this is part called the Crypt, where you're pretty much playing as this really fan fiction-y character, and it opens up this really open world RPG aesthetic to it, where you can literally just walk around the Crypt, which is Shang Tsung's old palace on this island, and you can pretty much collect different collectibles. Like you can collect different suits and weapons for your avatar. You can they have even these little puzzle sections, these jumping puzzles, where there's these X's and these little swinging spiky rods that go everywhere. So it got this really open world aesthetic to it for the most part. So I guess for the most part, in terms of Mortal Kombat's its style, its gameplay, its collectible a section of the game. This is pretty refreshing for the most part. It's not just simply you just get enough points, go to the store, buy something, or how in MK9 you're just pretty much playing with this really first person point of view where you're going through a graveyard and collecting new shit. And this one though actually gives you the pleasantries to play with an avatar character and pretty much loot around Shang Tsung's palace, the crypt, and collect new collectibles and whatnot, and so on. And there's a lot of Easter eggs and whatnot. You'll find Kano skeleton at at this table he was eating in the first movie and whatnot. You see a dead Kenshi, you see a dead Goro. You see, it's pretty much the biggest whacking off to fans, which is not bad, but that's pretty much what the crypt is in a nutshell. Anyone who like the movies, anyone who like the original lore of MK, that's pretty much made exactly for them. So yeah, that's pretty much what I say about the crypt. It was pretty refreshing, and it adds something new to the overall actually collectible segments of the game and aspects and whatnot. Although sometimes the walking mechanics in that section do seem a bit choppy in most parts, but for the most part, they did pull it off, and it was acceptable enough, and it was something different for the new NetherRealm trilogy that's going on. Um, Pretty much, yeah. That's all I got to say about the overall gameplay aesthetic. It's pretty much the same one since like the two other games. And this one, they even have customable move sets. Like each character has like 20 moves or more a pop, and you get to design it and customize them a certain way and put specific, collections and inputs for them and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess, for the most part. You can edit the name even. You can edit the moves and whatnot. So yeah, that I guess that keeps it up. That what moves you really like, what you can utilize for the most part, is in that customable move set a panel of the game for the most part. And pretty much that's all I got to say about the gameplay in general. I pretty much found Shao Kahn's death was actually kind of enthralling for the most part. It was satisfying, yeah. Shao Kahn and Kano's deaths were satisfying for the most part, and that's pretty much all I got to say about it. I mean, if you pretty much played the first Never Realm MK games, you pretty much played them all, and this game is literally no more different, but a few more open world or even a few like really strong RPG elements in this game. It's more out there than a, you could say Injustice 2 and whatnot. Um, and I guess I can get to the part with the gripes of this game, which I personally also found in general. And they introduced this thing called a mercy input, where when you beat an opponent, you don't exactly kill them off. They use mercy, and their life like grows a little bit, and you get to pretty much do a third round to see what's going on. Extra round so y'all can like duke it out one more time. That's pretty much the whole point of the mercy system in this. The brutalities are pretty much just like MKX's. If you do the special move in a particular way, They'll actually show, like Cabal would speed through somebody's nomad dash someone so fast that their skin would peel off and whatnot, and you get to see their flesh and whatnot. So that's pretty much how X-rays are. I mean, not X-rays. Brutalities are handled in this. Now the X-rays pretty much are these little spectacles that happen within gameplay where if you like punch someone a specific way or you throw a specific attack a specific way, they'll show the X-ray instead of it being the finisher as it was in like the last two other games. The X-rays pretty much serve as these periodic things that happen sometimes here and there. If you maneuver some of the techniques a lot, if they land a specific way, then you'll see the X-ray moves. Uh, the Conquest Tower pretty much garnered a lot of controversy when this game came out. People said there was just some are just dumb hard, and some were pretty pointless and whatnot. Some of them were unfair and cheap and whatnot. And for the most part, they kind of were because literally just times where you literally just can't do shit to the opponent. Like you'll fight an opponent, the CPU, and they'll like pull like Baricho's fart to distract you, or Lee May's kick or something. Like, these really, side attacks that come out from nowhere in this game. Yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say about Classic Tower. It's a little cheap here and there, but on the other hand, if you got it, then you got it. You just gotta be good at it, I guess, for the most part. The arcade system, it pretty much has alternate endings for everyone and whatnot. And some people even said that some should be, canon and whatnot. Some people are mad they weren't canon. Like Jax's ending, he pretty much created Wakanda, and people were mad that that wasn't canon. And some people said it was SJW fuel. And me personally, I'm just pretty much in the ropes between that, so to speak. Uh, and personally, actually, in terms of fatalities in this game, uh, yeah, despite of the spectacle to them, I kind of feel like in MK, it's only more so about spectacle than of substance or creativity. Some are just bland as hell and boring, and some are just really things you see in other games, or some of them are just too quirky to even be fatalities. Some are too quirky to find funny. Some are too quirky for MK for MK in general. So yeah, although I do enjoy most of the fatalities in this game, I kind of do feel like it's more so about the spectacle than there is, substance or creativity or the love within them, so to speak. It's just more about spectacle about the fatalities. Uh, I wish, they kind of went for a more approach for it to be somewhat in the middle instead of being more about spectacle than of substance. But, again, that's just how I feel about it, so to speak, about fatalities and whatnot. So yeah, overall, this is actually a really good game in general. It's really refreshing. I'm giving it exceptional. I pretty much enjoyed it. I got my ass kicked. I kicked the ass. You know how it goes. The story mode was pretty entertaining for the most part. I feel like there's a few like really bad writing choices in this game, though. I feel like some things could have been played off better. Some characters are kind of missing. Uh, some of the new characters are like just so fucking boring. I can't really actually put my finger on any real new character from MK11 that I care about. Garrus is a mindless henchman. Cetrion is forgettable. The Collector was literally there for like the first half of the game. And Centurion. No, you already said Centurion. I always get those bitches confused. Chronica. Chronica is just looking for revenge against Raiden for what he did to Shinnok. And she's pretty much a forgettable character, and sometimes her whole agenda pretty much becomes just kind of hard to follow and a little bit confusing for the most part. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna say about that. The gameplay is just like always, and it has new customable move sets for characters and whatnot. You can then level them up and whatnot through tower mode and whatnot. And they even got this new grinding system where you personally don't fight any of the opponents, but you can put your CPU against the opponent's CPU, and y'all get to duke it out and whatnot. You can get new swords or weapons or mags or clothing parts or attire for characters through through the tower mode, due to grinding system and whatnot. Uh, I don't know if that'll take you out of the gaming experience, like you personally want to fight them, or I guess yeah, people just want to grind through it. It's you can have it any other way, I guess. But I guess just like Angry Joe said, it would be actually wiser to do the fast CPU versus CPU grinding method in this game than just duking it out. So it goes. It's on both. It's a double standard for me for that concept alone. Uh, and pretty much I would never actually imagine the day that MK will become progressive and really SJWE for the most part. That's pretty much all I got to say about MK. It was pretty good and whatnot. I've been watching a lot of movies lately and shit, so yeah, I might see a lot of reviews coming out the woodwork somewhere this week. Uh, for the time being, this probably might be the last time I'll make a video in this very room right here. I'll be probably back in my room, back at my home, probably doing videos like these and whatnot. So yeah, pretty much take it or leave it. I'm be back somewhere in August to find a new dorm setting and video setting and whatnot for these videos. So yeah, this is considering I already know people's questioning why my room looks a bit, empty or a little shallow for the most part. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about it. You already know the drill. Drop me a like if you liked the video. Give your comments on what you felt about it. Subscribe if you like reviews and whatnot about it. You know, the basic shit. Subscribe, thumbs up, like, comment. Check out my DeviantArt. Check me out on Twitter. I'll be around there sometimes. Check me on DeviantArt if anything I upload or any works I have that's currently up and whatnot. And like always, man, Storm is watching y'all.